The following video was pre-recorded on twitch.tv/codedman9000. More information on the stream times at the end of the video. Death. Something the citizens of Shady Acres knows too well. Due to an unknown disease rapidly progressed by the city's expansion rate, and left with nothing else to do, the citizens take to the streets. They rush to the transportation center to take buses to the Chirp X Space Center. Large lines queue for the citizens' chance to escape the planet. The Chirp X Space Center, the last hope, is a place housing the space rocketing program. The city's survival, or even the planet's survival, relies on the Chirp X's Kerbal Space Program to teach us how to fly across the stars. With the help of SpaceX Kerbal Space Program, we will first learn how to fly a rocket. Next, we will learn how to fly in lower planet orbit before continuing to full planet orbit. After learning orbit travel, we only have one more thing to do: space travel. Hello and welcome to a Twitch Plays Along series called Stone to Space. Today we're in Chapter 3, Space Travel. Today we are playing Kerbal Space Program. I want to make sure that the shuttle we just made, which is Mark II, is sub-assembly. Because if I pull this out, is it the same? It is not the same one. It is also upside down. So we need to replace the one that I'm currently moving with the one that's down here. So if I just throw that away, we are going to pick this up, throw it down here at sub-assembly. Nope, we need to put something on it, and then reroute to that piece so that when we pick this up, we can put it in sub-assembly. I like using decouplers. This is probably going to be too small. Now I can see this one. Can you go right there? Thank you. So if I just quickly reroute to that decoupler, now when I pick it up from the engine, it goes upside down for some reason. Anyway, sub-assembly down here. We can just put that there for now. We're going to call this Space Shuttle so that it overwrites this one here. There we go. And we can put this back on there, and for simplicity's sake, I just rerouted back to where it should be. I can't wait for you to play Ani. I recently started playing it again off stream. I'm scared. It does have a lot of pieces you have to learn. It's a lot. If you're trying to learn everything all at once, it's a lot. But everyone recommends just go focus on one thing at a time. Like if you're having an issue with heat, focus on how to cool stuff down. Instead of trying to focus on that, focus on food, focus on water, stuff like that. So hopefully I can be relatively helpful as Willow is. Well, Willow's more helpful because she does YouTube videos for stuff. Alright, this is almost done. And now it is empty. Have fun lurking, Slicky. I don't know if I said that a while ago, but have fun. Slicky is taking care of geese and chickens for someone. So now we're going to go into the VAB. We're going to load the shuttle launcher. Should be down here. Space Shuttle launcher. Load that. What I have to do now is delete fairing, which still leaves the piece here, but everything around this shuttle is gone. And then I need to go through here and delete the struts and also the plane that's here. So this is going to take me a moment because I don't think if I remove the shuttle, if it will delete the main part of the struts. So I know everything connected to the plane is going to disappear, but I think it leaves these points down here, and I want to get rid of all the points. I have one advice: don't be afraid to kill your entire colony as you learned. That's true, that's what I was trying to say. I spent quite a while watching Echo Ridge Gaming's videos on YouTube. Well, I didn't remember Slicky. I'm gonna be straightforward. I didn't remember if she was your girlfriend or someone else. Okay, so this is gonna go on here, but I would rather... Oh, it's turned around. Gotcha. And I also have the wheels out, so we're gonna have to close all 3 wheels. If I just right click on you, start retracted, and no, I want just the wheels. Start retracted. Is there anything else on this that needs to start in a different way? I don't think so. Something we're gonna have to figure out is the phasing or staging, but I will do that after we have this fully set up. So what I want is a bunch of struts, because when we're taking off, I want this to be as secure as possible. Don't want it on lock to place. So this is gonna go down here because this tail fin's going to move. Where did that put it? That did not put it on the tail fin at all. Alright, we'll just do this then. Now, I also think I can't put them on this. I can! So I just can't do it on the tail fin? Like, I was trying to put it right here. No, I can't put it there. I can put it on the part that rotates. I can't put it on the connection piece, so I'm guessing that's the same for over here. Okay. You're gonna go right there for a moment. So maybe I do want this on the tail fin itself. This rocket should have a reaction wheel so we can spin a little bit faster. Put this up to that wing, and then another one over here to this wing, and then we flip it over, and I'm only going to do it for a few things on this side. So we definitely want one going to the middle of the plane, and then we're probably going to want one on the back of the wings. And I don't think I need them on the back of these, because it already has one, but stability's sake, let's do it on both sides. Now, what I think this is going to end up doing is making it so that they can't turn, which again should be fine because we're not going to use it until it's in space, so the wings won't do anything for us. Okay, next thing. I didn't want to take that off. I just throw it away and press Control Z, it brings it all back. What? Oh, the decoupler is the main body. I just wanted to move outwards more and have this in the center of the screen for when we do the fairing that might not fit. I clicked on it. Didn't mean to do that. I wanted to right click. Build fairing. Let's see if this is even possible to do with this plane. Because that, I think, yeah, it touches it. I need a way to get this to be centered. Wait a second. Easiest way is to just come down here to the decoupler and use the tool to move it. So if I just click that, does it move the entire plane? It does, because it is the rooted tool. So I'm going to root down to the fairing itself. Don't know why it rotated. So let's just put that back the way it was. I got a weird email. Don't know why. But anyway. Press 2. Click on this. I should be able to move this and the plane. Is that more centered? It's not really. I'm trying, this is in the center of the rocket. I'm trying to put these two engines on the sides of that. But this definitely needs to go over to the right. But it has a snapping point that's making it be weird. So I'll just leave it here. That should be close enough to being in the center. And it should still work later on. Cross our fingers. So to there, straight up. Because we found out that it does weird things when you don't have it as just one big fairing. We had the previous one as two different points going up, and it did weird things. You know what I should do? Is just follow the curvature of the plane itself. Now that it is centered, it'll make it easier to do that. So that's the end of the fairing. Just checking to see if any part would be touching it. It doesn't seem like I'm focusing up here when it's closed. So the top part seems like it's far enough away from all the edges. So this should be aerodynamically stable, and we shouldn't lose control as we're going up. I don't think I need to do anything with anything else. So if I just zoom out, whoop. I want to bring this down to the ground, even though it's not really going to do anything to us when we go flying. Because it automatically puts us on the ground. Anyway, I'm going to save that, and let's see which direction this plane is now rotated. Because I think I need to rotate the entire rocket now, so that the 90-degree portion is on the right of the ball. I do. I have to rotate it so that the plane faces to the right. And this helps me take off, even though I could just use different keys. So if I click on this and we just rotate, not that way, that way, that should be the correct direction. Or we went the wrong direction and we have to turn it around twice now. So if we just take a look at the ball at the bottom again, we should see 90 is at the right, north is at the bottom. That's what we want. I'm going to save this. But first, I want to see what our load saves are. Pre-shuttle launch is what we're going to overwrite. That should say that I have to overwrite. There we go. And let's take a look at the other saves, because I wanted to get rid of about 10 every time we start the game. So we have a quick save here. Don't know why. I think that's just one that I forgot to delete before. So I'm going to delete 11 through 20 because it only takes me a few seconds to do this. If there was a highlight multiple things, I would delete them all at once. And I know we're close to 40 down here. No, we're not close to 40. Space Shuttle Mark II. Why is that saved? That's odd. Okay. Oh, that must have been our last save that we did at the end of the last stream. So that the quick save was probably when I did the screenshot. But anyway, we probably don't need this anymore, because that was before we got the engine to the space station. So I'm going to also delete that. Was there anything down here? Shuttle orbit, we're going to override. We're going to override this. We don't need this, but I'm going to leave that there just in case we do need it. So, anyway, let's take off now and see if this rocket still is... Oh, wait. I forgot to do the staging first. So, all of the parachutes should go off. No, we actually want to... There's a Weedle in chat. We want to change the parachutes. I don't have Weedle? Oh. Weedle is a Gen 1 Pokemon, so I'm obviously going to try to catch it. So we want the parachutes to go off at different times. What I want is the 4 on the very bottom to go off first. So let's do 1. We're going to bring the fairing down there. No, 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 no. Yes. And I'm guessing the one at the top is also another yes. Which it is. And then here... we are going to want all of the engines here to be with these, because this is for when we come back to the planet. I want these two separated, so now I need to look at the engine to see where everything is signed up for. So this is correct, that's the first stage. That should not be in the next stage. And that should also not be in that stage. The next stage should have that middle rocket, all these separating engines that are on the thrusters, and then also decouple the thrusters. Then we break off the fairing. And then from there on, we turn on these engines, we break off from the fairing itself, because we use this middle rocket to also get us into an arrival orbit with the space station. And then after that, we're just using the ship here. And as far as RCS is concerned, it should be properly spaced apart. If it's not, we'll worry about that later. So, I'm going to save it again. We're going to go into the crew, because I also remembered that it usually puts more than one person in the crew. It didn't put anyone in the crew. So we're going to put Bob in here. You should be in the cockpit, not there. Can I drag you into the cockpit? I can! And then we're going to take off. Alright, so now... why is it rotated? I didn't even pick up the ship. Why did it rotate? We're going to do the thing again. So now I want the tail fin to be pointed at me. Safe. Does it still have one crew? Yes. Start launch again. Now the ball down here should be correct. It is. Okay, everything should be all set up correctly. It's got a lot of things up here. So, let's take off. I want to have maneuver node open so I could see this change. For some reason, it says our upper axis is very high already. But I think that's because we're not curving yet. Oh no, that was in meters. I thought it was already in kilometers. And I'm trying to keep us close to the 90-degree heading over here, but I know that we're going to stray away from it. I'm also losing a little bit of control over this. So I'm going to stick right here. This is pretty much the halfway point where I want to be at 5 kilometers. So we got here a little bit early. And now I'm going to just turn us closer to the prograde vector and try to get to this 90-degree line by the point that we get up to 10 kilometers, which is pretty much right now. And then we're just going to hang out right here until we get up to about 75, maybe a little bit more. These boosters should be coming off soon. You know, what I didn't do is check how heavy this is, because we might have actually needed a bigger rocket for us to be able to connect with the space station. Not sure. We're gonna figure it out. We're almost at 70 kilometers. Now we are at the highest point. And that's 75, almost 76, so I'm going to stop it there. I'm going to use a maneuver node so that I get a better orbit than I would if I didn't have the maneuver node. So let's just do a lot of prograde. I'm looking at the number in the bottom left, rate of parry, making sure that goes to a positive 70 at least. That's too little of a change. That's 70 and 81. I want to go a little bit higher than 70. 73 and 86. That's pretty good. So let's lock on the maneuver. We might overshoot the maneuver. I think I'm going to have to start burning before we get to it. Maybe not. We're actually turning very fast compared to where I thought we were going to be turning. We're going to be using about 1,000 of our speed, so pretty much a little bit less than half to get into orbit. So we do have a lot extra left over. And we're actually pretty close to our maneuver by the time we get to the burn time, which is in 3 seconds now. So, full throttle. And from here on, I'm just going to focus on the lowest number. And we'll wait to see that go up to a positive 73. It's about another 48 seconds. And then we're going to do another save. That's going to be Shuttle Orbit, the name of the save. So that if we mess up trying to get to the space station, we can just relog to this point. So we are within negative 300 kilometers. We're almost above negative 200, which we are now above negative 200 kilometers. And now we are starting to get up there very quickly, so I'm going to throttle down. Because we are now positive numbers. It's 20, 30... 40, 50, 60, 73, right there. We're going to save that. And looking at our numbers, we have 89 kilometers at our highest point and 73 at our lowest point. This is where we're going. So we need to set that as a target. And then we probably should right now fix our degree here. So if I were to set up a maneuver, how quickly could I get this set up so that we can fix the degrees? That, I think, went the right direction, but now it's over there for some reason. So I'm gonna just turn this down a little bit. If I go this way, that makes the number go up, so I need to go this way more. That is the correct heading. So we're going to do this maneuver. It's a little one. I could probably now go in here and break off the fairing because we're in orbit. That'll help with spinning because we should be able to control the plane now. Oh, and it looks like the struts actually don't get the fins stuck in place. That's cool. And it looks like we're going to make it to that point before we get to our burn time. It says 1 second, but that's at full throttle. So what I could do is have a whole bunch of hiccups. If I lower this throttle, it changes the time. So normally I would speed up to being within 10 seconds, but we are at 25 seconds, so we might as well just wait the little bit of extra time that we would. And I also have my announcement there for the schedule. So we had issues in the last stream, or the one beforehand on Saturday, where my messages weren't being auto sent out. So I am waiting to see if we get the announcements at the right time. Probably should be in this screen looking at this. No. I just stopped there. How close to 0? Oh, that's 0. Okay. I also just remembered or realized that I never did the announcement for us being live on Discord. So I just did that right now. That might be why Gino's not here. Because Gino's usually the first person. Or maybe they could be here. So anyway, let's get back in here. So now that we have this being the same tilt as the space station, let's make it easier for us to get to it. Means that we don't have to use extra fuel later on, trying to correct as we're going over here. And now I just need to find the spot where we actually would have an encounter. If I just go here and we burn prograde to get our highest point up to the amount that this is at, which should be 779,000 meters. That's 786. And what we are focusing on is getting these two orange icons to be next to each other, because this is the point that we would get up to this orbit, and then this is where the space station would be. And then if we went around again, this is our next closest approach. So pretty much we move from here to here, space station moves from there to there. If we just move this around, which I can either drag or press these numbers in here, or not numbers, buttons, we can see that our highest point goes down as we're doing this, but the orange icons are getting closer. Do I have Bing Bong? No, I do not. Because this is not Bing Bong Airlines. Well, I changed things. Did not mean to do that. That was retrograde, so I need to bring this back up. Okay, right about there should be right. We're not playing peak, Regis. This is far past peak. Bing Bong was already rescued. So if we look here, obviously these two lines aren't close enough. So let's do a little bit more prograde. Get that number up to that point there. And then one of these should have the intersect distances and speed. Looks like it's the top one. So I want that one on at all times, because what we're going to focus on now is this number here underneath the name, and we're going to try to get that as close as possible. So what I want to do is move the timing. That is now 1,700 meters. That's 300 meters. So this is where we're going to do it. Can lock on the maneuver now. I'll get us locked on the maneuver. We'll do our hard save so that if we mess up, we can come back to it. And it's also another 7-minute wait. So we are going to be speeding up to this maneuver. I'm going to save here so that we're not too close when we get reloaded in if we have to. And there's an ad. So, for anyone who hasn't been here in a while, we do ad breaks now. And I am going to use the restroom while we take the break. So I'll be right back. Enjoy the clips mostly made by Regis. As you'll hear in the very first clip that Slicky made. And I'll be back. And we're back. And also Mama Cat's here. She came over because I was getting my own snacks after I came back from the restroom. Because if she hears a bag crinkling, she knows the noise. That's yet another reason that we think she was once owned and then left outside at some point. And there she goes. Where's she going? Ah, she ate, so now she's using the restroom. So, I have a small bag of sour gummy worms. Which are pretty hard. I don't know if I like these. I'm having a hard time with just one. I thought you were going to say weed. No, Slicky. This really is hard to chew. It's not like a hard candy, but it's definitely one of those harder gummies. And it's not like an old bag, like it's been stale. I bought it yesterday. I guess maybe I'm just used to the Trolley brand gummy worms. And they're probably softer. They're kind of like Sour Patch Kids. And the sourness went away super quickly. I don't think these are good. I might end up throwing the rest of them away. Which I hate doing because I hate wasting food. Anyway, what I did realize is that I never paused the game the entire time that we were on break. So we actually spent the 2 or 3 minutes just orbiting around. So I'm now going to not fast forward because we're almost at a minute. So there's no point fast forwarding to the maneuver. What I am going to do is use the period key. Fast forward to 10 seconds. Oh, wait. Nope. I'm going to call the shuttle in orbit to make it more obvious of what's going on. And I did say I was going to save it back here, but I can't load that far back. So I really should have been paying attention to pausing the game when we went and took the break. Anyway, now we're going to fast forward to being within that 10-second marker. And then as soon as we get our shuttle to interacting with this up here, we will break off the booster. Now it is still with a small thruster, so it's actually going to take a little bit longer than we would if we did full thruster. But that should help us because we can slow down better. Is there a way that I can see the number here? There is! Look at that! So now I need this, let's say it this way. I need this number that's changing to match this number. And then we should get this. So we just have to wait another 40 seconds before we get there. We are at a highest point of 450 kilometers. That's 500 kilometers. And we're starting to speed up as we get closer. So I will be throttling down soon. I'm waiting until we get to 700 kilometers before I throttle down. There we go. So we want to get as close as possible to 779 kilometers. I don't want to go too far past this 502. But if we do, that's fine. Maybe I'll try to go slightly past it. I slowed down very far on our throttle, so we're back up to 40 seconds before we get to this point. I got scared that it was going to overcook it or overshoot it. We're at 64. I can also look over here, since I can't see the number now because there's too many icons in the way. 79,502. We're now at 770. 771, 72, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, stop. 779,421 kilometers. We are a little bit shy of where we needed to be, but our intersection is only about 3 kilometers apart, so that's pretty close in terms of how much RCS we're gonna have to use. So what I'm gonna do now is lock on target because we're right next to it. We're gonna go into here. We're gonna turn this all the way up and we're gonna break off, because this should put the plane in the right orientation. Oh, and we are focused on the plane. Okay, let's get this focused on target, which it still is in a way. So if I go back to here and we press the bracket key, we can now rotate this around. It'll take a moment, but it will move fast. And then this is going to burn all the rest of its fuel just to crash land back into the planet, so that there's no space debris outside in space. All right, full throttle burn. Say goodbye to the plane that you can't really see anymore. And that camera change was it getting captured back into a crash land. We should get this pretty close to being a straight down drop from where it is. Yeah, we're almost at the point where our highest point is where we are. And why didn't it use all of the fuel? Oh, she's using the cat lair. Why didn't it use all the fuel? It has a little tiny bit left. Is it because we're shooting straight down? Or maybe there just wasn't enough in here? I have no idea. But anyway, what I need to do now is ignore this and focus on here. You should still have the target. I'm not sure if it will. It does. What I need to make sure is that it has full tank of fuel for these boosters, because this is what we're going to use in space. And all of this is for when we are coming back. So, at this point, let's check to see how much this has changed. 9.4 kilometers. That's definitely not what we want. How can I change that to make it easier for us? If I put a maneuver here, we're going to do some weird movements to try and get us to where we need to be. But for right now, I'm going to have this lock on the maneuver while I change it. Not sure why we're just spinning like that. Anyway, if I do a small amount of prograde, what happens? It gets further away. If I do a small amount of retrograde, it goes closer. That's 2.2 kilometers. Can I get like less than 1? No, that's 2.4. That went back up. That's 1.5. 200 meters. That's what we're doing then. Alright, let's fast forward to getting over to the maneuver. And what I want to do is figure out how to tell where we're going. So I guess I just have to look at this. We should have those rockets turned on. They are on. What I want to do is turn the thrust limiter down. The burn time is still high. Wow. Wow. Okay. Little concerned with how we're gonna do this, but we should be fine. We have a burn time in 10 seconds now. So I'm just gonna do a little throttle and see if this burn time changes. So if I just tap that button, there we go, it's now 6 seconds. Why are we not locked on the maneuver? And there is a hypno in chat. Let me see if I have that. Pretty sure I do. Yep. I did see that when we were taking a break, there was a Kingler in chat, and I'm pretty upset that I didn't catch it. I didn't see it pop up before I walked away from the computer. Alright, so now with that weird orientation, how close are we? 200 meters! Alright. So now what we're going to do is fast forward to over here. And we want to change this to target, so we have the speed relative to where our target is. And I think I want to get closer. Let's put us on retrograde, because that's going to be how we slow down. Which is pretty much anti-target, that's fine. So now that we are there, let's warp. Get us a little bit closer. Now, I want to do short bursts of fuel, because I know it changes our point of how close we are. So I think what I actually wanted to do was wait until we got closer. So if I just go to prograde and we do a couple burns in that direction. I want this icon pulled up. So this is in the direction that the target is going. That's back to our 200 meters. If I put us back on retrograde. And then I think what I want to do is wait until we get to that point. So if we go here, we should, if I press F4, see the target. There it is. And it's coming in hot. But we are going faster than it is, so we're technically going away from it at some point. So if I just kill a lot of our speed here. So right there, that'd be good enough for us to change to it. We want to bring prograde to this portion here. To this icon, I mean. So right now, prograde is going away from the target. That means we're going further away from it. Why are we going back to oh, because I didn't take off prograde snapping. So if I just go like this and we turn on RCS and also docking mode, now the RCS is controlled with the SAS buttons. And I think what I actually want to do is a short burst to get prograde over here and then slow us down with RCS. There we go. We are now heading to it because this icon is now over with us. I just need to figure out which way I need to move it. I don't see it moving at all. No, I can see it moving to the left now. Just isn't really moving downwards. Was I pressing the wrong button to move down, maybe? Trying to get these two icons to match up so that we're aiming straight towards the station. We are coming in hot, so I should probably slow us down. We might end up overshooting our target. So I'm still trying to get these lined up correctly. It's getting there. There we go. Now I'm just trying to slow us down as much as we can. So we're almost at 3.5 meters per second. We should slow down fast enough. I'm just not entirely sure. So that's on 3.4, and that was at 870 meters away. And that's 3.2. So we're slowing down maybe 40 meters each meter per second. That changes. Just gonna move prograde back onto the vector. We should be getting to a point where this yellow marker wants to move very fast away from the point. All right, now prograde's starting to move a lot faster than before, so we are getting slow enough that minute changes in the direction we're going is going to mess with the heading. Can I rotate in a way that makes sense with the station? If I go like this, that lines us up for how we're going to dock. How much monopropellant are we using? Oh, we got a lot. Am I close enough to click on it? I am not. And I'm going to go all the way down to 0.3 meters per second and then speed up time to get over there. Actually, let's go down to 0.1. Because if I get too close, I should be able to slow us down easily from 0.1 to 0. So I'm going to fast forward and occasionally change our heading, which is just moving this yellow marker inside the pink. Alright, that's probably close enough. Or far enough away, I mean. Fast forward again. Bring it back up. I'm going to slow us down because we're at 0.2. Speed us back up. Fortunately, I can't speed up and control the ship at the same time. I'm going to wait until prograde is almost out of the view. Prograde just disappeared. Oh, prograde is right there. Why did it disappear? Companion ship? No, not yet. That was weird. Was it because RCS was on? No, it's working now. I don't know how to explain why that disappeared. It's going again. Not what I wanted to do. There we go. It was down here. Now where is it? Turning us around shouldn't really mess with us getting to the station. But it was anti-target. That's where I thought prograde would be. Maybe we're just close enough that we don't need the marker? And it's trying to tell us that we can just, you know, point at it or something? I'm not sure. Oh no! That was the thruster! No! Anti-target, quickly! We're going too fast! I thought I had RCS on! Hurry! Back to the target, quickly! RCS on this time. I want docking mode. So I need to slow us down. Still time to abandon. We're not abandoning. Which way is going to slow us down? Because holding back seems like I'm speeding up. There we go, that's working now. I see the vector now moving. Okay. I'm kind of understanding what was going on with prograde disappearing. We're also not 100% on target. Now, I should be able to click on this. Aim camera. There's the plane there, so I want to set this as the target. And we pretty much just have to wait until it's close enough. And then I should see a button pop up for set as target. Luckily, I can still control the plane while looking at this. We're now bringing prograde up here. I'm just ever so slowly bringing this back up to the pink circle. And that should be making us stop going to the right and just come straight here. It is aiming for this right now. We're going to get it to aim for this. And as we get prograde over here, it's actually slowing us down, which I think is odd. All right, go up a little bit. And right about there is where we want to be for a little bit. Now we are only 200 meters away, or a little bit more than 200 meters. I want to know why our orange icon here isn't directly in the center of the pink one. It's a little bit below it. I don't know if that's intentional or not. Anyway, let's fast forward for a little bit, so we're not waiting here for hours. I don't want to go too fast because prograde's going to become not locked on the vector. I want enough time for us to fix it. There's a chat tot in chat if anyone wants a parrot that can speak. Alright, I'm gonna stop there and get our marker back to where I want it. Is this close enough to set this as target? It is! Alright. So what I want to do now is, one, go back to our plane. That's not what I wanted. That's what I wanted. And what I want to do is press 1 to get our dock port open. I want to control from here, which is going to reorientate where we're going in. Let's click on target again. All right. Next thing I want to do is put this in the right rotation. So that's making us tilt upwards. That's kind of what I wanted. I'm going to try bringing prograde over here. And then I'm going to turn off docking mode for a moment. Because I just want us to spin like this. But then I can't see prograde and stuff, so we're actually going to wait. I was trying to make us orientated correct way for this, but it's not going to work out that way. Alright, so we should still be making our way over. We are going to have to readjust prograde every now and then. But let's speed up time. Get prograde to disappear. So we're probably just close enough that I don't need the vector. Alright, and it looks like this whole thing is going to the left, so I want to push us to the left. There's prograde already, and it disappeared. Okay, so when you're actually heading towards the thing you want to go to, prograde just disappears, I guess? Or that's a visual glitch on my end. I'm not sure. But now, if we go... Which way? I want to speed us up a little bit. Oh, there's prograde again. And there it goes. So I'm going to speed up again. It is going far to the left, so let's just get us over that way. I'm going to wait until the prograde pulls up over here somewhere. Alright, get this over this way. Stop right there. Get prograde to come over here or disappear. Either way works. We could just go for this one, because we're already facing that direction. I don't know. Let's speed up. Alright, slow down to readjust. And if I just keep pulling to the left, eventually prograde should pop up again. Okay, so right now I think we want to go up. Which I think is pulling us down. Because it's trying to put this right there, and we're not really where we want to be there. So we have some upward momentum now. I'm trying to straighten out the plane. We should still be getting closer, but I'm not sure if we are. We are. I just saw the number change. Alright, if I just start going this way now. That's the wrong way, apparently. I'm gonna slow us down. Alright, we're not really going up anymore. We just need to go to the right. Or to the left, I mean. And I see retrograde is there, so prograde should be somewhere over on this side now. Alright, from here, which way do we have to go to make that smaller? Because right now it's going away from us. Retrograde is now leaving. So that means this should start going back down. It went up for a while. I see prograde. I'm going to assume at some point it's going to disappear again. We are getting quite fast, though. Alright, that should be perfectly lined up. There will be a little bit of a bumpy ride connecting together, but it should be going in the right direction. So if we just speed up, we'll look from this angle. If I turn on the lights, that should help. Did they even turn on? Oh, I'm speeding up. There we go. Now we can actually see a little bit. We are a little bit down, but we should be okay as we come in here. I am a little worried about the tail fin. And we're getting the magnet pull, and now we're connected. So, I am now controlling this entire thing. I want this locked on the normal vector, which for some reason we are very far off from. Is it because we're not controlling from here? It is because we weren't controlling from there. So the whole space station was correct, and I just took it off where it was. Alright. So this is another autosave. We're going to call this shuttle at station. And what we're going to do is put Bob in here, take Valentina and Jebediah out. So we'll be switching around a bunch of people. One of them should be in here. Valentina. We're going to transfer you to the cockpit there. I'm then going to click on here. And you should be able to fit more than one person, but I don't actually know if it can. So I go control, not control from there. No. It's not what I wanted to do. Transfer crew. Bob, I can't put him there. Can put him here though. So we'll do that. Transfer crew again. Jebediah over to here. This is also I don't have to do an EVA to get over there. Alright, so we have our 2 pilots in the plane and our 1 scientist out of the one of our 2 scientists in here. I'm going to turn RCS off because it keeps spinning. It's using up more of our monopropellant. Now, it is currently using a lot of our power, so we should probably focus on getting our batteries and our antennas up here next. So let's attempt to get everyone back home. We need to right-click on this dock, connect to the station. And what I want is to turn this all the way down, because I think that is what pushes the 2 things away from each other. If I just undock, we shouldn't really be pushed away. And I just want to turn SAS back on. Switch to this. This already has SAS on. But now I want to go into dock. I already am in docking mode. RCS on. Not entirely sure which direction I have to go to get away from the station. There we go. We're getting away from it now. We do need to get quite far away from it because if we hit the station with this door, it kind of messes stuff up. So right about now should be far enough away that we can close these. And now we just want to turn this retrograde at some point. We have to wait a little bit. Pretty much bring our lowest point down to an orbit or a capture. So I think that's far enough away that we can turn the plane now. And soon comes the scary part, trying to slow us down fast enough. So we are ready to take off. Let's do full thrusters. And I just have to focus on this lowest point number. We can turn RCS off now. We don't really need it for this. We also don't need this as a target anymore. Which it's not. I was just saying how close it is, I guess. We do have quite a lot of fuel. So when we get captured... Maybe I should have had these slowed down parachutes up front. so that we can still burn retrograde as we're falling. Not sure. Are these also turned down? No, the thrust limiter's all the way up. We should be able to do this correctly. I do want to rotate the plane so that it's... the blue ball is facing away from the planet. It'll make more sense when we're actually going into the planet. We're below 350 kilometers now. Compared to the last time we played Kerbal Space Program on stream, we did this a lot quicker than before. So we did something right there. Now what I could do is put us in an orbit height and then slow us down again later on to make it a little easier to climb in. What is that little light? Don't know if you guys can see it. That might be just like the highest mountain point or something. Who knows? We are now lower than 100 kilometers. That is now 80, 70. We are below orbit now. I want to put us close to 45. So right there. And now we are going to fast forward to over here. That should give us enough time to reorientate to retrograde. Because by the time we get over there, we should be facing prograde. So we'll get our little spin. This is still an orbit height where we are right now. Let's turn this to surface because we're going to be ending up in there soon. I'm going to fast forward below orbit. There's our orbit, or capture. If I start burning the rest of our fuel now, we should slow down quite a bit. So that we don't have too much heat resistant stuff going on. So I don't want to burn all of our speed, because we are going to end up turning these engines on soon. Actually, we might end up burning through all this fuel before we even get to that point. Why do we have a lot of fuel still being shown, but we're not using it? You have fuel, you have fuel. That's not a fuel thing. This has fuel. This has fuel. Why do we not use all of the fuel? Because these use a different type of fuel. No, they don't. They're on liquid fuel. So I used all the oxidizer. Okay, I understand that now. What I want to do is go into the next stage. And I want to take off that. And I want to orientate us in a way that we have the bottom of the plane getting hit by all the heat. So I'm just pulling as much as I can away from retrograde. What I should probably be doing is prograde. If we can get over to it. I don't think we can. So hopefully at some point we'll be slow enough that our parachutes can stop us from spinning. I'm gonna zoom out in case that's making anyone sick. Alright, we slowed down enough that we're not getting heat damage. I am trying to slow down our spin. Our engines are turned on, but for some reason we're not using them. So I don't know what's going on with that. I think we're just too high up. So it is trying to lock on retrograde. No, don't start spinning again. Pretty soon our parachute should be popping out. I'm not exactly sure how high or how low down we have to be. I think it's starting to stop spinning, I mean. We should have these pop out right about now. But they're not. Is it because I'm not staged correctly? Oh, I wasn't. Let's just turn that off. No, let's turn that back on. I'm gonna stage to the next thing, which should get the next parachutes open. So I'm gonna keep our speed so that we can still land flat. Once the next parachutes come out, I'm gonna cut our speed completely. Where are we anyway? Is this a desert? Or is this a really large beach or shore biome? Oh, it is the desert. Look at that. Are we still falling? I can't tell. Can I break these off? Oh, I can! I can click on it. So now we could just fly all the way back home. Maybe not. I don't know what happened there. Note to self, do not cut the parachutes next time. There's the next ones. They should stop us. And it should make us go flat down. It's not. So I need more parachutes in the back. Can I shut down all these? So that we're not still hearing the noise of them? Now what's still going? This? No, it's not that one. It was both. Okay. Are there 2 parachutes that aren't deployed? Because I see 2 red ones, or 4 red ones. Oh, those are the ones that we cut. Gotcha. I'm gonna put the landing gears out. Because we are going slow enough, but I think we're going to break off our tail when we land, because of the way that we're going down. So what this means is that I either need to move these up further and then put more on the back, or I just need to put more on the back to make this drop flat. I also see that our next announcement just went out, and it's, again, only the YouTube announcement. I'm scrolling on OBS, that's why we're getting closer to the plane. No, that's the schedule one. Okay, so we did get both. They're just not at the same time, that's weird. I'm definitely gonna have to mess around with that again. So anyway, we're gonna fast forward until we land. Which I should probably put on here, so that we can see our height relative to the ground. This is the fastest that I can go now. And we're only going 7 meters per second, so we might not break anything, but I think we are going to break the rocket thrusters. I'm not entirely sure. I am going to stop fast forwarding in a little bit. Higher than I normally would, because we're angled downwards. We're not really angled the way that I think the height is being calculated from. So that is the slowest speed I can be at. Are we breaking anything? No! Awesome! So, what is going on here? I am definitely getting a weird glitch, because I should see that marker. Anyway, let's... Oh. I didn't mean to turn the landing gears off. I meant to put on the brakes. So we have successfully transferred Bob with Jebediah and Valentina and not exploded. So we can now recover this vessel with our 2 best pilots. Or I should say our 2 only pilots. And we should have another break. How did we get science? Recover a vessel returned from Kerbal orbit. We get science from that, apparently. Didn't know that, or else I would have finished that before. We're gonna have a break in about 4 minutes, maybe 3 minutes. It's hard to tell, because it says ad starts in 2 minutes, but then it says ad starts soon when that timer goes completely down. So I think it's really another minute added on top of that. So I'm going to hold off on launching the next rocket, but we're going to prepare it. So what we need is to load the shuttle launcher. No, because that has the decoupler in a weird orientation. We want... Oh, we have Space Station Electrical already on here. Okay, so we don't really have to set anything up. So what we're actually going to do is take a full break right now. So I will be back after the ads end, and I'll see you soon. And we're back. You guys just missed Mama Cat. She just jumped down. I was giving her more treats. She followed me all the way to the restroom, and then all the way back up the stairs. And now she's underneath the table drinking her water. So at some point in the future, when the kittens are more mobile, they will be in screen more. Instead of the camera being over here, it'll be behind the computer, facing that way. So, we don't really have to do anything with this specific rocket, aside from make sure that it has a person piloting it. You have Jebediah. So, we're just gonna send this up and see what happens. It'd be pretty cool if we can get 2 things connected to the space station in one stream. We have 2 hours, and this should be easier to control than the last one. So, it is not rotated the right way. I'm gonna just do 180 with this. I just pick it up. Oh, that's not the route. Put that back on. I I'm gonna reroute to that. Okay, now if I rotate, that should have everything on the ball the correct direction for me. Also, before we raid out later in the stream, we are going to be voting on what we're going to do tomorrow for day 4. Yeah, day 4 of our 8-day stream. Okay, everything's correct down here. We have Jebediah. All this should be self-explanatory because there is no engine to the actual thing inside here. I do want to make sure that it has RCS. I see it there. I see it here. Where's the propellant? That's batteries. That's more batteries. That's even more. Oh, it's right here. That's the non-propellant. Okay, so we have the large thing of it. So I am going to revert to launch again, so we get the fairing back on for aerodynamic stuff going into space. And let's take off. Everything else should be correct. We're gonna have a lot of fuel left over when we get into orbit with the space station. I do have to keep this connected to it till we get closer because we have no other way of slowing us down from a very large speed. So anyway, let's start tilting because we're actually getting pretty high already. And I am experiencing a little bit of wobble, which I'm surprised. So I'm going to stay right here for a little bit because we're almost at 5,000. Alright, let's keep going. And for the rest of this, I'm going to just stay right here. We are somewhat losing control. No, it must have been just my micromanaging of the direction we were going. Our booster should be breaking off pretty soon. How high are we going to get? Should it get close to 55 kilometers? Yep. Alright, let's get the rest of the way up there. And for some reason, we're breaking off from where I want to be. So something is acting against us to make us rotate. Well, I wasn't paying attention to our highest point. We are at an 84 for our height. Isn't too bad. It's just about 10 kilometers higher than I wanted to be. And just for simplicity's sake, the usual maneuver. Stand this up a little bit more. That is in safe orbit. I want to go a little bit higher than 72 at the lowest point. Do 78 and 85. That sounds fun. Lock on the maneuver. We're already within the minute timer that this brings us to, so we don't have to fast forward that way. Pretty soon we should be getting the space music. There it goes. Alright, we're pretty much on the maneuver now. I'm going to fast forward until we're within 10 seconds like our usual. There we go. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Full throttle. And now we just burn until our things are in the right numbers and stuff. Well, another 20 seconds left. So we'll be throttling down pretty soon. We're almost in a positive number. And there's our positive number, so let's just throttle down now. I'm gonna go quite far down. 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Alright, let's save this as electrical in orbit. You guys can sometimes hear me typing. Maybe not. Weird. I noticed that when we were doing Peak yesterday with Discord, my push to talk button wasn't on, which I thought was weird. And also, my keyboard was getting picked up on OBS, and now it seems fine. So I don't know. Could have been just where I was placing the microphone, maybe. Alright, as we normally do, we're going to change the angle that this is at, but since we're really close to that point, we're going to do it over here instead. So if I just add a maneuver here, I need to see this number. And I think we need to go normal to go lower. No, we have to go anti-normal. Okay. So if I just keep clicking this, let's turn it up a tiny bit more so we change faster. That's not 0.6, 0.5, 4, 3, 2, 1. There's a 0. I went a little bit further so that if we get close to it, we can stop if we get too worried. Let's get back to the maneuver node. We're almost there, so I will be fast forwarding in a little bit. And that's close enough. So now we're within a minute. I'll let it readjust for the maneuver. Fast forward again to going within 10 seconds. There we go. I can see a red line going somewhere. I don't see it anymore. So I don't know how to explain what I was just seeing. Let's turn this down. And I think I'm going to stop when it gets to 1 second. Because that should still be within a good number. That right there is 0.1. You know what? I'm okay with a 0.1. So what I'm going to do is put a maneuver right here, because I think that's where we have to be. And we're going to do the normal to get our capture. That is pretty darn close already. Okay. I need that number to get smaller now. Getting smaller the further away I do this jump. We are slightly off. I think that's just when you do a little bit retrograde to get closer. Did that just switch them? I think it did. So let's do that little bit of prograde back. And then I'm gonna just turn this down and keep going to the right. Should probably also do a tiny bit of normal. No, that changed nothing. Okay, so if I do more normal, that is actually changing it. Okay, that puts us at a 500-meter distance from the station. So I'm going to lock us on the maneuver again. We're going to do another hard save, overriding the previous save we just did when we got up here. And then this shows me the highest point that we have to get to. Alright. Pause for just a second. I want to know what that was called. Electrical in orbit. Let's override the previous save. Fast forward to our maneuver now. It's a 12-second burn, which I think is funny. Fast forward within our 10 seconds. There we go. And all I want to do is make these two numbers match now. So, full throttle for now. Alright, turn that way down now. And stop. We went a little too high. So our number's probably going to be a little bit off. Should be fine. It's up to 3 kilometers. If I just do a little bit anti-target, that should change it to a lower number. Which is pretty much retrograde. So we're just waiting for us to spin around fast enough, or far enough, I mean. Then we should be able to get us a little bit closer than what we are. Alright, that is anti-target now. So if I just do a small burst... That made things worse. Okay. Put us on target then. Can I help it by pulling the marker? I don't think it helps. No, I'm not making things faster. Alright, I am going to do short, small bursts of throttle. Where are we going? We went past the vector I was trying to get us locked on. There we go. Now we're going back to it. We do have a lot of time to mess around with stuff because of how far away this is to where we currently are on the other side of the planet. So I'm not too worried about how much time we have to get there. And that is still going up. What if I just go on prograde and we do the little burn there? Oh, it's going down now. So that whole time I needed to go prograde, not retrograde. And that's about 1 kilometer. I got to the point where the number was going back up, so I stopped. And now we are going to fast forward to all the way over here. And I want to be looking at this because I should be able to change things. So if I stop fast forwarding for a moment, break off the fairing. I didn't want to phase or stage. That whole time the stage was set for breaking off the rocket at the same time as the fairing. That's not where this should have been. That's where I wanted it. Alright, let's save this so that it's good for the next time we mess up. Why is it not taking? Save. Overwrite. Lock on maneuver. Fast forward. Oh, we're not doing the correct fast forward. We need to do this one. Alright, so we're going back up here again. I just need our highest point to get to 780. I think what I'm going to do is start a small throttle burn a few seconds early. So I don't know how much throttle we actually need to get there quickly, but without flying past what we need. Should have this open, although we can see the number here. Ten seconds left of our burn. I'm going to start throttling down now. Let's go all the way down. We'll just wait the extra time. So this is the slowest I think I can go without cutting the throttle completely. We are above 700 kilometers now. We just need to get to that 80 point. It should be 720 right there. 730. 740. 750. 760. 770. And stop. It's close enough. It's within a 200-meter difference. So that should put us pretty close. It is not. So if I lock on prograde at this point and do a small burn, it should put us closer. If what I learned is correct. It is not. Let's go in retrograde. What we could be doing right now is breaking off the fairing. So let's do that. That might help us rotate faster as well. All right, we're almost on retrograde. And now we are. So if I just do short burst of burns, should get fairly close. It's still going down, but I know there's going to be a point where it starts going back up. That's 1.1, 1.4. Okay, so 1.1 was the lowest. I'm fine with a 1.5 kilometer separation time. From here, I think we just want to stay looking at retrograde and then get all the way up here and slow down later. So I'm going to warp over to here so we're closer. This whole time I've been purposely keeping the power off so we have a lot of electrical charge. And we should be close enough that we can see the space station. That's apparently it. So, compared to the space station, we are moving almost 300 meters per second. Either to it or away from it. I think we're going to it. So is it really facing the moon? It is, wow. Okay, if I fast forward to here, should see that it's getting closer. Where is retrograde? Why do I have no vectors on my screen? Weird stuff is going on. I don't know how to explain it. So I'm going to wait until we are a little bit closer, and then I'm going to slow us down quite a bit, because I think it's going to fly past us by the time that we slow down for it. And I'm using this rocket just to slow us down. So if I do a burst right about now. We are getting Kraken effects because we did not stabilize the electrical thing. So I'm doing short bursts so that the Kraken effect doesn't make us rotate or spin out of control. That is a 1.4 meter per second speed difference between the two of us. Where do our orbits reach? You know, way over here, we get to 3.1 kilometers. So what I'm going to do is break this off now, because we should be slow enough and close enough that we can use monopropellant the entire rest of the way. So I'm going to break this off now, but first I want to make sure that this has 0 propulsion. Why do I not see a slider for it? No idea. So this is probably going to knock us off course a little bit. Or not at all. Okay. If I go back to the rocket... No, I need to use this to get away from it. RCS. Docking mode. I'm not sure which way I want to go. I think I want to just go a little bit like this. And I want you as the target. Can I do that from here? Yes, I can. Look at that. Okay, now I should be able to switch to this and control it and get it back into a crash landing of Kerbin. Actually, it's already on prograde. I could just... Or retrograde, I mean. I could just lock it on here and just shoot from it. So let's go to this and... That's throttle. That's not what I want. That's slowing us down. If I go this way now. Trying to get out of this range so that it doesn't hit us on the way out. Okay, that should be good. This can now do full send, full throttle, all the way home. And we should be seeing that over here, this number's getting lower. That's not target. There we go. Hold on. We were looking at the wrong vector. I wasn't looking in terms of orbit, I was looking at the target. So we actually did need to spin around. We didn't have to get that rotated out differently. But that's okay. It was going down. Just not as fast as this will. So we should see that this flies past us. Somehow this is closer to us. That's a capture of orbit. Just wait until we burn out. There we go. If I go out here and click on the correct thing here, this should be the right piece. Yes, it is. And then I still want this to have a target, which it does still have a target. We're going to get to 3.3 kilometers away from this. So I'm going to lock on our target here. And I just want to get closer to it. So if I just use monopropellant to speed us up quite a bit. And then we just fast forward. Going 3 meters per second should mean that the prograde vector does not move much as we're speeding up. Now, for some reason, we are actually getting closer, or speeding up as we're getting closer. So I'm just going to bring our prograde vector back up. How is our electrical stuff going? It's actually not going down as much as I thought it would. Congrats, Gene, on catching a Spinda. In the video game, the game mechanic around Spinda is that there are no two Spindas alike. No matter how many times you encounter the Pokemon, you will never find the same one twice. And I think they made, in the original games, 3 million different Spinda combinations. So if you Google what it looks like, it's kind of like a rabbit that has different spots all over it. And the spots look different for each one. So it's a cool game mechanic. I like it. Let's fast forward until we get closer again. That is 1 kilometer now. So let's get prograde back over there. Okay, there we go. Let's give us more speed again. And fast forward. Okay, we are quite close now. For some reason we're not on the maneuver. I don't know what's going on with that. Can I kill our speed? Yes, I can. Alright, I want to get down to pretty much no speed at all so I can rearrange how we're getting orientated here. And I think the lights are flickering on there because we don't have any electrical stuff connected to it to recharge the batteries. Okay, that's practically nothing. If I control from here, that changes where everything is located, but not by much. We want to set that as the target now. And we want to just get closer. So if I just speed up quite a bit. I can see that we're straying away from it. So which way do I have to go before it stops going past us? I can see prograde. It shows up occasionally. Okay, it's actually going down quite a bit. Still going to the right. Can I stop it from going down now? I think I'm going the wrong two directions. There we go. I think we're getting closer. No, we're not. What we just saw was the retrograde vector. Oh, I see what's going on. The directions on the keys are different now. We are getting far away, so I'm going to just do a little bit of this. There we go, we're starting to get close. I could see the prograde vector now again. So we're getting there. If I just stay here for a while, we should get close to it. I'm gonna speed up for a while, a little bit. All right, let's slow down and readjust everything. And we should see that everything just connects correctly. We're going slow enough that there shouldn't be any weird connection adjustments. And I think the next thing we'll attach is the science thing so that we can do some science while we're out here. All right, can I slow down a little bit more? Could probably turn on the lights at this point since we're close enough. And then as soon as we connect into it, this should start getting more power. It will also be able to connect to Kerbin and anything nearby. There's our connection. We are fully connected. So what I'm going to do next is first transfer crew Jebediah into here. One small step for coded, one giant leap for Kerbal kind. 100% Reese. Let's make this the control from here again, just so that I can make sure this is on the normal vector. And now I need, since I didn't put an action group on this, I need to right click on everything and extend it. So as we see soon, we should be getting power back. We are getting power back. I can see the number going up. That was beautiful. I didn't want to say anything before now in case it jinxed it. I was concerned the entire time. I'm still getting used to the controls, but I think I'm getting better at it. Now we have 4 solar panels here, and that is just because these only rotate on this axle or axis. So they won't, this can't face away from the rocket, and it can't face at the rocket. So we put solar panels on all 4 cardinal directions so that it can go the directions that they're extended anytime the sun can be seen. Do we need anything else extended? What is this? That is a communitron. We do need that extended because that is a one-way antenna. These dishes are relays, so they take radio waves and then bounce it to something else. So it's pretty much a satellite in that aspect. These antennas that I'm extending now are one way, so it only leaves from here and goes to something else. So I wanted all that. That's pretty much it for that rocket. We did that in pretty much 45 minutes. Probably less than 40 minutes. That was probably the easiest one to do. So, do we use Valentina to bring up the science portion, or do we use our secondary science person so that then we can use 2 scientists in a new lab to speed up the new lab? Because the labs have a set speed that you transmit, or that you transfer data into science. If you have 1 person in the lab, it does a certain speed. If you add a second person to the lab, it does half that speed. And that's the maximum of people you can put in it. But if you add 2 of those labs with a total of 4 people, it is then a quarter of the speed than if you had just 1 person in 1 lab. So it's like an exponential type thing. I should be able to get to Mun in 2 hours. Quote, coded. That was only for the regular rockets. That was never for the space station. This is going to go to Mun at some point, but we're going to use this to go around the globe and get some science. I am only going to do it once with you guys. And hopefully that'll be at an end of a stream. So... Yes, Slicky? You have a question? Do you mean time instead of speed? I don't know what you mean. For the quote, that was just I thought I'd get to Mun within 2 hours. After like putting this all together and then getting all the way to Mun, I thought it would take 2 hours. So, we should be ready to get the next portion ready. So I'm going to go all the way to the Space Center. Because if you meant speed, war researchers are worse. Oh, that's what you were talking about. I thought you meant travel time to Mun. You mean time and speed. I definitely probably do mean more time. So the less researchers I have, the faster we transmit data into science. The first stream ever, he was like, this won't take me long at all. Yeah, I didn't expect this to take us, what episode are we on? 21 streams to get this far? And it's only going to get worse because I go back to work full time pretty soon. Alright, so what we're going to do is we're going to go right into the VAB. We're going to get that next rocket ready. So, half speed, quarter speed means you'll take longer doing the same thing. What I meant by that was that it's going to take half the amount of time to do it, or quarter the amount of time, not half speed, quarter speed. So I definitely did mean time. I see where I confused you and myself. So we're going to delete this fairing. We're going to then grab all this and just throw it in the trash. And then the next thing we're doing is the science wing. So we're going to connect this entire thing somehow. I think I have to route to the science portion and then do a bunch of rotation things. And then it connects. And this should be one of the easiest things to build a fairing around. Because it's just a cylinder. Now I do want snapping on so that it does direct angles. So if we just do 2 clicks of this, and then a cone, that's it. This rocket is now done, in a way. We are going to save this as something specific, but I need to read what we were naming all of our other things. So that's space station thruster. So that must have the fairing with the actual thruster on it. This is launcher, space station electrical main. Alright, we'll just call it a space station science. And we're going to do a quick save here. We're going to reload it because for some reason when I add a pod to a subassembly and then put the subassembly on the main body, it deletes the fact that you can put a pilot in it. So you have to reload it for some reason. I think it's just something that I have. I don't think it's common. But now I should have the ability to put a person in here, which I do. It's not going to be Valentina. It's going to be Bill. No, it's going to be Sambus. Because they are the other scientists. So we are now going to check our phasing, or staging, I mean. So I want the decoupler on a different stage than the fairing expulsion. I need to make sure it has RCS, because if we get all the way out there and then we can't move it, I'm going to be very upset. I have RCS there, I have RCS here, we're fine. Another quick save. We're going to do a test launch to see which way we're orientated. And then we might get this done within an hour, because we have about an hour left. It is orientated the correct way right off the bat. So we're just going to take off. Why didn't SAS turn on? I must turn on lights. I think I pressed U. Which we won't even be able to see lights until we get the fairing blown off. Is this taking power? If I press U, does this go to a 0? No. So I don't know what I pressed before turning SAS on. But anyway, we're just going to take off now. I see that we're rocking. Not sure why that's happening. Because if I start pulling us, I don't know if we're actually going in the right direction. I'm thinking it's probably fine as well. I know things get better once these boosters are taken off. I'm gonna try pulling us quite far over to where we need to be. Maybe it's Kraken effects that I can't see through the fairing, because we didn't add any struts to this. I'm trying to put us where I want to be, but it's not really working out. I am about 100% sure that something in here is wiggling around. You know what? That's not what I thought was going to happen when I blow a fairing. And this is the reaction, the probe. Let's just reload to this. Now, I realized in the other rocket that because there are many small pieces in here separating this from the fairing, that it does not control very well because of that. So, we are going to put, with four-way symmetry, stabilizer right here. 4 stabilizers should be good enough. Don't know if it actually is. So what I'm going to do is another set of 4. And I'm going to place it in here. Which probably puts it right on the window. Yep. Let's not put it right on the window. And go up to here. Right below the door. I don't think that'll get in the way of anything. Okay, so this should help. If I didn't blow up the rocket with just the fairing going off, I would have just restarted from launch, I guess. Let's go now. No, we're still getting a little bit of that weird effect. SES is correcting for something, and I don't know what it's correcting for. So anyway, we're just gonna keep going to the right, like our usual. I'm gonna try to pull our heading back down. Alright, from right here we should be okay. Alright, I'm trying to pull to the right again because we're almost at 10 kilometers high. And I want to at least prograde to be in the right spot. It's not really working out for us. We should be getting these thrusters taken off soon. Seems like it's getting worse. Oh, I just saw things moving inside the fairing. I don't know if you guys could see that, but for a second I saw the rocket swinging outside the fairing. Alright, that's orbit height there. So that's going to be fun to correct once we get up here. Alright, in here we're doing the usual. Bunch of prograde to get into orbit. That's 71, 87. Let's go up a little bit more. 73, 89. That's fine with me. Lock on our maneuver. I'm now trying to move it on my own to get over there a little bit better. Alright, we should be getting our orbit music soon, because we're almost at 70 kilometers high. And we're far enough away from the start time that I can speed this up. There's our music. There's our 10 seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Start full throttle. I'm only focused on the number changing on the bottom left corner. We already know that our highest point's going to go up to like 89 kilometers. About 24 seconds left. And we're in the final 10 seconds, so I'm going to start throttling down. We're now in positive numbers on our lowest point. That's an orbit capture. 50 kilometers. 60 kilometers. It looks like the thrusters turned off, but they didn't. That's 70. 1, 2, and 3. Alright, so right now we can blow off the fairing and not worry about anything getting damaged. It does still have the struts, so what I think is going on is inside here we have too many separated pieces. Like, all of this is probably not connected properly. So I should have probably did a strut going from here to, like, this point to save us from that. But we should be fine. The world's not on fire. Alright, now we're going to make another save. We'll call it Space Science with an A. That's signed. In orbit. There have been like 3 bots in chat today. Saying the same thing. I might want to do the same thing that Willow does and actually log them to be banned, in a way, or flag them as a bot. Because right now, Seribot just, deletes the message. It doesn't really do anything to stop them from doing it again. So, anyway, save that there. We are going to put up the maneuver and then save again once we reorientate this. So that is quite a massive difference in orientation of 6.7. And I know from doing this multiple times today that we need to go anti-normal to rotate clockwise. And we're getting pretty close to 0, so let's do this. There's 0. I'm going to do a couple more clicks just to make sure that we stay 0. And just lock on the maneuver. Is anything wiggling from this? That's what I want to know. So when we get to that maneuver node, does this wiggle when we stop? No, because I guess we're going slow enough. No, it did wiggle a little bit. I don't know if it showed up on stream, but I saw it for a moment that it wiggled. Okay, let's fast forward through time to get this changed. We're going to speed up within the 10 seconds like we normally do. And then this is a 9-second full throttle burn. So I think I'm actually do it without slowing down. There we go, full throttle. Two, 1, and stop. Let's see, what's the difference now? 0.1, perfect enough for me. I still have that set as target. I'm going to assume that I need to put the maneuver here in order to catch the space station. Yep, I was close to it. See, we're learning, chat. We're getting better at guessing where it is. And then all we're going to do here is just change time. That changed quite a lot. We are now in an ad break, so I will be right back. And we're back. Mama is here somewhere. Oh, she's drinking water. I took a little bit extra time to fill the pitcher up again. So I gave her some water. She's, I guess, just enjoying the new water. So, let's get back into here. And we're looking at this and changing the time. I forgot what we were doing for a moment there. That's 2.9. Let's get a little bit closer than 2.9. That is 3.5. So that's really the closest I can get right now. I think it's because I need a tiny bit of prograde. Yep, I do. Oh, now it went down. That's 2.3. Now a little bit more, a little less time. What about normal or anti-normal? That seemed to have done nothing. What about radial? Ooh, a little bit of radial is changing it. Actually, it didn't change it much. So I think that's the best that we're going to do right now, without going further. So let's lock on the maneuver. Then we'll do another hard save, rewriting the one that we already have. Alright, there we go. What was our last save called? Electrical in orbit. That was a cap, but maybe it's something outside making noise. Anyway, electrical in orbit, overwrite. Fast forward. Fast forward again. And we have a 10-second full throttle burn. There we go, let's keep a track of that. Turn down the throttle quite a bit. Turn down even more. I can't see that number changing. I think it's at 50, 60. Yep, it is at 760. That's at 770 kilometers. We want this at 780. There we go. So right now our closest approach is 17.7 kilometers away. I don't think that's where we want to be. If I do a short burst of prograde, will that get us closer or further away? Gets us further away. Let's do a little bit of prograde or retrograde then. And then I also want to focus. No, I want in orbit. Any day now. I could turn RCS on to get us there faster, but I'm trying to save as much as I can for the actual space station. Okay, Okay, from right here we should be able to get this close to less than a kilometer. That's 8. Whoa. I think I overshot it. Oh, that's a 6.4 kilometers. 3.1. 2.8. 2.5. 2. 1. 1.8. And it's kind of stuck at 1.8. So I'm going to leave it there. We are going to go target and then switch this to target, so that we are facing what we are trying to connect to at all times. Oh wait, what I should be at is retrograde compared to target, which is where we pretty much were. And then I'm going to warp to a closer point. Then we'll get rid of some of our speed. I know it says that we're slowing down right now, but that's because we are still heading out. Once we get to this point, we should start speeding up. Alright, we're almost there. We're pretty much there, so I'm going to warp over to here. We'll readjust where we're facing. And then I'll warp again. And then we'll readjust again. And that should be where I start burning retrograde. If I just warp to right here. Alright, how far away are we right now? It's 49,000 and dropping, so if I go to right about here, we should be getting even closer. Alright. So, that's our target. I don't know why it's called Space Station Thruster Ship. It should just be Space Station. We're gonna have to change that at some point. If I start just burning full throttle, we should slow down quite a bit. We are getting a Kraken effect again. So I'm gonna let it straighten out. And then... Oh, we're getting spongeness! I don't know if you guys could see that very well. But every time I give it a little bit of throttle, it bounces a little bit. I find that funny. Alright, that's within 3 meters. I'm going to disconnect with this heading, because I think the closest approach shouldn't be too different. It's 11.8 kilometers. We're going to be able to change that. So, I want to phase apart. I want to then be on this, which I think I am. Turn RCS on. Turn docking mode on so that when I go like this... Nope. Nope. When I go like this, it pushes us away. And then I'm gonna switch to this. We're gonna switch to an orbit. And then lock on retrograde. Then we're gonna do the same thing just to get rid of the space debris. Where we just send this home. Oh, it's pretty much heading to the target. Alright, we're close enough. Full throttle. That's our orbit capture, so we're crash landing at this point. But as we do, we're going to use all of the fuel we have. What is going on here? I never saw that happen before. Alright, I want to switch to this. And then we need to reset up the target, I think. Yes, we do. So I want you to set as target. And I need to bring prograde, which we should be not looking at. I don't know why we flung past it so far. But anyway. That's us on target. Once RCS figures out how to stay stable. We're going to stay on docking mode because it's a lot quicker. Are we done? I don't know why we're having a hard time just getting there. Alright, right now I am pushing prograde over. There we go. If I just turn off the locking. Alright, now at this point, we're relatively far away. Our next closest approach is 10 kilometers way over there. How far away are we right now? We're not that much further away than we were. So, let's just speed up, I guess? To get to it faster, I'm gonna go to 10. And I'm gonna try to get us to stay locked on the maneuver, but I don't know how easy it's gonna stay there. Well, let's just fast forward, I guess. Alright, we are going quite fast. I am ever so slowly pulling prograde into the right vector, but because we're going so fast, it makes the movements very little. The slower we go, the faster we can change prograde. But again, we're going slower. So if I stop slowing us down at this point, we should be able to get prograde back up here. What is making us rotate so poorly? It's like something is wiggling. I don't know. We almost have prograde locked onto the target. So in a little bit we'll be speeding up again. I think I should leave this to being a slower speed, like everyone recommended the last time, at 3 meters per second, and just using the speed changer to speed up time. Which is what the YouTuber said, and what chat said the last time we tried doing stuff like this. So we're getting closer to 3 meters per second. That means prograde is going to change a lot faster. So anyway, we should be good now. I'm going to speed up for a little bit. Get prograde back to where we need it. It's actually taking quite a while, and we're slowing down. There we go. If I just give us a little bit of throttle, we get prograde to move faster. There you go. Back to 3 meters per second. We're slowing down as I do this. That makes sense of why prograde was moving so slowly. Because I'm trying to fight prograde on turning into retrograde. Okay, speed up time again. We slowed down quite a bit, and we're not facing the target. Alright, we're getting closer. And that's pretty much on target. I'm just going to get us closer to that. Alright, we're slowing down again. Oh, we slowed down quite a large amount. At this point, I don't even know if we're getting closer or not. The next closest approach is 4.9 kilometers. We're at 5.2. Okay, we are still going down. Okay. It's just I think we're going behind it, so it's counting us as going slower. You know, at that orientation, I should just be throttling towards it, and that's bringing prograde without us using any of the other cardinal directions of RCS. Although it is slowing down, so let me just give it a little bit of boost. There we go. Fast forward time like usual. Speed up, get prograde back over. This is taking a lot of micromanaging. I think the other rockets, I got a lot closer at the beginning when we started using RCS to get us there. And this one wasn't the most efficient one. Either that or it's because something is rotating it incorrectly. So whatever is giving me a Kraken effect, I think might be changing how we're driving here. If you can consider this driving. Now we are speeding up. Trying to stop us from spinning. If I turn RCS off, that should help us. Nope, doesn't help us. Actually hurts us. I can now see it at least. If I just slow us down as we do this. I think that's making prograde go further away. Oh, we're speeding up somehow. We're still speeding up. How are we speeding up? What do I need to do to slow us down? The direction we're going right now. Does this slow us down even more? Yes. Okay, I'm seeing prograde come back. We should see prograde moving faster as I grow slower. I'm seeing it move very quickly when I use one button over the other. But when I use them together, it seems like it doesn't want to move. There we go. We're going slow, so now everything moves fast. If that made sense. Alright, how do I speed up now? Just like this. So we're aiming on the target again. That's 3 meters per second. Let's speed up time. See how much better we can get to this. That's within a kilometer. I think I want to get prograde over here again. Maybe what was going on with the RCS was also part of this. No, definitely need RCS to help me here. Alright, we're not spinning as much as we were. I slowed us down a little bit to try and get prograde to move faster. I think speeding us up makes it better. We are close enough that I probably should be just focusing on slowing down. Especially now that retrograde is within the marker. This way we have enough time to slow down and get our science thing in the right dock. So I'm gonna stop slowing down at 0.8. Because that's enough that prograde moves fast. Okay, so from here I want to be able to click on something, aim the camera at it. There's our rocket right there. I want to put the science lab on this. Oh, I can set it as a target now. Alright, and then I want to reset camera. And then I want to control from here. And now I want to slide us around the space station. So if I put prograde to the right, that means the space station should be going to our left. I'm also going to slow us down. And I'm fighting prograde here to keep it where we want it. Let's fast forward quite a bit. We are a little bit too high. So let's put us down here. Fast forward a little bit. We'll go all the way past it, I guess, for right now. Actually, let's stop here. Bring prograde back up to this point. Because we should still be going down, and we should still be going to the right. Okay, fast forward. There is a ditto in chat. I don't remember if I caught the last one that was here, so let's see if I have it. Ditto's game mechanic is that it can turn into any other Pokemon. Looks like I do have Ditto. So, in terms of how Pokemon breeding works to try and get the best Pokemon with the best egg, you need a Ditto to make breeding easily, because Ditto can turn into any Pokemon and it doesn't need a gender. So, it's the best thing to use it for in the games. Collection-wise, I don't think it's really needed, but it's still cool to have. Alright, we should be seeing the target moving quite fast now that we are swinging around it. And I think we might be going the wrong way in terms of this target. Meaning that I should put prograde above the target so that we move down. If I just do this, is that going to start bringing us down? The weird Kraken effect is moving where the station is. Oh boy, we are we're gonna hit it. Alright, I'm fighting retrograde with this, and I think it's not helping us. Can I get prograde back over here? We hit the space station. Should be fine. If anything, the magnets are going to pull us in correctly. It might take a moment, but we are somewhat connected because of the magnets in this. If I just turn RCS off, will the magnets pull us in without RCS needing... Nope. We should get it at some point. Those are good magnets. Yeah, it's kind of working. As we rotate around the ring of it, it is bringing it closer. It's just whatever... There we go. Whatever is making this, you know, be a Kraken was not helping us. I control from here. There it is. I wanted to make sure that we're controlling the right thing. We now have Sandbus and Bob here, so we could put both of them in this. Transfer crew. Sandbus to here. You should have the wrong person. Okay. You have Bob. Put you in there. Jebediah. You go in the command pod. Are the lights all on? I don't think they are. There they go. There's all the lights. So, we have 3 out of 4 parts connected. we have the next part, which is bringing the fuel up here. We have to make a rocket for that. But we also have the plane. So what I could be doing right now is figuring out how this works. We need to bring science 2 here. So I open this. We should have all of our science related stuff in here. Like the goo. And we're going to send this to the processing lab. It'll take 41 days to turn this 19 data into 95 science. So in terms of us bringing this down, we would either get 15 science if we went home with this, or if we send it to the science lab, we get 95. So we get an additional 80 science just for waiting 41 days. So obviously, we're going to do that. And we could probably do that with these, but I'm not sure if they're actually going to do anything in space. They are. So we go from 18 to, I think, 110. I guess this number is the correct number. We're going to send that. And if I can click on the right thing, there's the temperature. This goes from 12 to 75 science. And all of that should be on here. Yep, there's 56 data in there. Next thing is going to be the science junior. So we're going to conduct 37.5 science into 235 science. Now, I'm pretty sure as I add more data into this, it's extending the amount of time it's going to take for them to finish it all. So I'm not going to expect this to be done anytime soon. I'm also going to leave everything open for now, so that I know I've done it. And we are going to figure out if we're going to use the engineer to bring up the fuel, or if we're going to use Valentina to come pick up Jebediah. And then use Jebediah to bring up the fuel and Valentina to bring up the ship after the fuel's connected. Because we're leaving Sambus and Bob in here to do the science. Which I think I need to start instead of them just doing it. Just clean I don't know what clean instruments does. This looks like we get 2.5 science per day. And we would probably get more if we added more to this. Like another science thing to it. So, I think we will use Valentina to come pick up Jebediah, or we just... No, we need the plane up here. So we do need to... And I'm thinking of different things. We use the engineer to bring up the fuel. We're bringing the plane up here, and we grab the engineer and bring it back. But then we should probably also take Jebediah, so we can use Jebediah to bring the plane back up to here. And then he can control the whole space station. Because I'm trying to keep one person at home that's a pilot, in case we need a rescue mission at some point. We can keep the engineer on this for later. So let's do that. We're going to bring the engineer up here next. We're probably not going to send off that rocket today, because we have about 14 minutes left. But we will go to here and set up the new rocket. So what I'm going to do now is do a hard save. Called Space Station, if I can spell, without fuel. Invalid save game name. Is it because I did a slash? Will you accept a dash? You do accept a dash. That is going to confuse me later on, probably. We don't need pre-shuttle launch anymore. We don't need the stuff down here anymore because everything is working correctly so far. We don't need this. We don't need shuttle pre-entry. We don't need shuttle in orbit. We don't need space science in orbit. We don't need Space Shuttle Mark II, whatever that save was for. And we don't need space state. Oh, we do need that one. That's our newest save. Space. Ha, I just noticed our science is 6.9. And persistent should be our current load. So if I were to close out a game, load it back in, persistent wouldn't be there until I load one of these saves. And since Space Station without fuel is down here, I don't think we need this. Electrical in orbit. Because we should be running persistent right now. And we can reload to an earlier time using this. If I'm understanding the saves. So let's go into here. Figure out how we're going to get our space or fuel up there. So we're going to load. We'll just load the space station one. We're going to get rid of this fairing. We're then going to get rid of all of this. That probably left the attachment points, which it did. I can see them. I'm going to try to put this in the center as best as I can. Get rid of those. Get rid of these. And now let's load the last thing, the refueler. Which just brings up 2 things of fuel. It also is not updated with the newest propellant that we're using. So, we're gonna mess around with this for a little bit. That's not what I wanted. That's not what I want either. Nope, 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 nope. Almost there. There we go. Let's get this on there. And then take this off. Take this off. Going here, we want to propel it right there. Put this on, then put this back on. I guess I need to rotate you the correct way first. There we go. Alright, in terms of Kraken forces, this should have 0 because there's not many pieces being connected together. We have a total of, I think, 5 pieces connected here. So there's the 2 fuel. Then there's the fuel and the monopropellant, so that's 3 pieces. Then the adapter, it's 4. And then the crew pod is 5. This is pretty much on the crew pod itself, so I don't consider that as its own piece. So I think I should probably add struts for down here, but I think that's the only thing I need to add struts to. So if I do snapping, which is on, and I do all the way up to 8-way snapping, we'll connect this as high up as I can see for right now. Because that should help hold it down as best as I can. I don't know why it did a zigzag here, but I like it. Brings it, gives it more character. Alright, and now we need to look at the staging, which looks correct so far. So this is going to be accurately named Space Station Refueler. All of this 100% is all correct. Not sure why these are separated, but should still work the same. And in terms of how much thrust we have, I actually don't know the math on that. I think that is 4260. Oh, it's at the bottom. I don't know why. I forget that this number is down here at the bottom right. That's the total of all of this put together. So we will have roughly 600 meters per second left over to mess around in space to get us in to at least the space station capture. And I know we are usually going 1,000 meters per second as we get into that capture, so I think we need a little bit more thrust somewhere. Is just adding more fuel what's going to help us? We have 4260. I'm going to write this down in my calculator. If we take this off now. No, let's actually put that back on. We take the engine off. We grab this, put it back on. That puts another reaction wheel. I don't want the other one. Put this back on. Nope, I need to bring this up first. This is now too high. It is back on. We now go up to 4471, so we gained 211 meters per second by adding one extra fuel to this. What if we did something else instead? If we first took all of this off, took this fuel away, put this all back on, then took this off, put this on, put this back, and then we grab from this decoupler and put it over here. Trying to line up with the others. That should bring the struts, and it does up here as well. I'm not oh, these are up here because of us taking off the fuel, so we actually want to take these off and put them down here if we actually want them, which I think we do want them. So if I just grab right here and do four-way, and then we try to look in here as best as I can get it straight and just do that. Welcome in, OK Clips. I do remember you from previous streams. Just came back from holiday, congrats. Or is that bad, because now you have to go back to work? I hope you had fun on your holiday. Alright. Now what we need to do is make sure that all of this stuff over here is correct, which it's going to be immediately not correct. So I want these to snap off. No, actually I want these all to go off at the same time. What I want is to break them apart in different sections. Or do I? I mean, this is a little bit more as it is right now. If I separate them, could I get more boost from this? I put you there, and these two, these two, these two, and finally these two. And this is just for visual representation. Did we get more? I think we got more. Because we were at like 4,500, now we're at 48. And then up here should be the third rocket. Where is that third rocket, by the way? Right here. Let's put that up here. It's not going to change how much speed we're getting, it's just changing how I can understand how everything's going. So right here is not going to give us much. Actually, is it enough to get us off the ground? It is not enough to get us off the ground. So it looks like I don't have a choice but to put all four of these together. Okay. I was trying to think of a way to avoid doing this, but I think this is all I can do. And by the time that we're breaking this all off, all 4 of them would be empty anyway. And since these are solid fuel, I don't think adding a fuel pump to push them to one thing would help. It might? I think the fuel... This thing is only for liquid fuel, though. We're gonna keep it like this and see if that's enough to get us to the space station. I am going to probably forget that I'm doing this, but I want to put all of the rocket stuff together. And then put this here, so it's gonna break everything off and stage it to being thrown out. And then we have this booster. We're gonna have to stage again to turn that back on. That's probably what I'm gonna forget to do at some point. So next step is to build this fairing. And it's on snapping. I don't know why it's on four-way symmetry. I don't think that does anything for this, so let's just take four-way symmetry off. It is still on snapping. Luckily, this is another almost straight tube. Spaced out on the word for a second there. I don't like how close they are to this fairing, because that looks like they're pretty much touching it. Can I like separate these a little bit? Maybe not with snapping on. That's better. They're at least not touching the fairing. That makes me feel better. Alright. Now, next thing I need to know is how is this gonna fly with just these four wings? Do we need to put wings on each one of these to make it fly better? Because we could add one wing to each one of these. It would do the cardinal directions, and then when we snap them off, we already have the cardinal directions again. So maybe that'll work for us. Either way, we're gonna save this. And I think I don't have a pilot in here. Oh, it says empty seat. We can put a pilot in there. We're doing this with the engineer, who should be able to use SAS because he's fully upgraded. Alright, we're gonna launch this, or at least see where it's orientated. I can close the calculator because we don't need that number written down anymore. We are not rotated the right way. So just so I can see which way we're rotating it, let's put this fin right here. And then I need to grab this and rotate the fin to the left side. Let me take it off. Save and launch. This is just a test flight. We're not actually trying to get there. I want to know how it handles airspace, or not airspace. Well, yeah. We are rotated the correct way. We do get SAS because he is a fully upgraded engineer. Let's just see how this takes off. We already knew that it was going to take off. And we do, in fact... What is happening here? This is just a simulation for sure, Regus. I mean, that's still going. I'm hearing noises. I think it's the cat clawing at the underneath of the couch. So, I don't know what went on there. I'm 100% sure, in a way, that it is due to us having the battery and the probe in here like this. So I think what we might want to do is take this off. Should probably delete the fairing as well. We are going to add a small storage container in here, so that's payload. Service bay should fit, yep. We're gonna take this off. We'll put this on, we're gonna open this. And we're gonna put this inside there. And then we can put this back on. The struts are already there. We can close this now. Having this storage container should make this more of a connected piece. You know what? Should we use the bigger one just so it's more of a cylinder instead of a weird cut in? I think we should. This in there. So this is overkill for that battery, but it should make this easier to control. We still get all the struts. The only thing we have left to do is to build this up again. And I want snapping on so we can get a straight line going up. To right here. And then we go in. Now I have a feeling that this might have rotated the rocket in some way. So we might have to restart. We should have the same guy in here, because we didn't switch him out. But we might see Valentino. We actually don't have anyone, but it is the right direction. So let's revert back to vehicle assembly. I'm going to click save again just to make sure. You should have the ability to pilot. We do. And my earbud just died, so we definitely are getting ready to re-up. So, if I launch it now with a person inside, let's see how this controls now. Because what I saw is that the portion we're actually flying up into the space station flipped around and hit everything on the bottom. And now it's not doing that because it doesn't have a way, it doesn't have a pivot point, let's call it that. So I think we probably could have used that type of situation on the science part. But then again, we only needed one science addition, so I don't think we're going to need another piece. Alright, we're pretty much on point of where I want to be. No, we're not. We did not take off the right direction, did we? No, we're definitely rotated the wrong way. I have to rotate the rocket one more time. Going that way. Save, launch. There we go. Back to the test again. Again, like Riga said, this is just a simulation. Although if we have a ton of velocity when we're in orbit, because I know 100% we can get into orbit, it's just getting to the space station and then running retrograde to slow us down is what I don't think we have enough fuel for. If we get into orbit in a good way, with a lot of fuel left over, we could save there. And then just pick up from there when we come back. in 2 days. So, we pretty much got up here as efficiently as I like to be. Let's just stay here. We should be going higher or periapsis before we burn out of fuel. We actually might go too high. We're getting into orbit, and we have an ad. So I will be right back after the ad. And we're back, chat. I took a little bit extra time so that I could have a quick snack. And because I was eating, Mama's over here. Oh, where are you going? Hey, you got down. Come on, you gotta come up here. I don't know if you guys can hear her, but she chomps. Okay. We're gonna get back into this. My headphones are very loud. So now I know why I had them turned down before. When we were playing Repo yesterday. Or not Repo. Peak. Now, if we took a look at this, when we had the ad break start, I realized that our highest point is already at 76 kilometers high, and we have a lot of solid fuel left. I cannot turn off solid fuel rockets. The only thing I can do is break them off and hope they don't crash into us. So that's what we're going to do. I'm going to press escape, and then I'm going to press spacebar and hope that nothing crashes. Awesome. So that stuff can go into space. I don't care what happens with it. It should at some point come back down anyway. Add a maneuver here. I want to see how much fuel we have left over when we are in orbit. Because this should be the entire amount of that middle booster. 75, 79. That's the closest we've gotten in a while to having a perfect circular orbit. Pretty proud of that. Alright, let's get into the maneuver. These guys are going so far away. Whoa, you can see their orbit when I hover over them. Look at how far they go. They go past the space station orbit, and then they come back down. It'd be funny if as we're going around just changing things, we hit it. Or it hits one of us. Or one of them hits us, I mean. Now this is going to take roughly half of our total velocity. That's not too bad. For getting into orbit, that's not too bad. And we are within 10 seconds, so I'm not going to speed up time. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, full throttle. I don't think I'm staged. There we go. I wasn't staged for some reason. Oh, that's right. Remember how I said earlier I was putting things in a different stage and I was going to forget to stage twice? I forgot to stage twice. So, right now, we can look at the time, or we could just look at our lowest point height, which should get up to 75 kilometers. So this rocket didn't do too bad getting up here. We might actually end up using this all the way. So we are going to save this rocket in orbit. Maybe not. We're below 1,000. That still needs more throttle. There we go. We are at 800 meters per second in getting all the way to the space station and also slowing down at the space station. And I don't think that's enough to do both. I think it's definitely enough to slow down. It's definitely enough to get there. But I think we need to double that number. So we need like another 1,000 velocity on top of what we have. We right now have 4487. So maybe we really do need that extra fuel that was down here. If I just take this all off and grab that fuel again, put it back on. That's engines, this is fuel. It would be this one. Save that. We get about 200, 500 meters per second more. We will probably end up using more of these boosters' fuel because of the extra weight, which is not a bad thing. The only issue is I don't like having to waste the fuel. I could just lower the amount of fuel that's in here. Forgot that that's a thing. So let's do a test on how much fuel we have when we get to an orbit height with these boosters. And then we'll try to throttle down the fuel amount, that amount, and see if that gives us more velocity. It should, because there's less weight, meaning we go faster. We still have Bill. And everything else should be set up the same way. It's just we have more weight. So this is another simulation. And we're pretty much on the halfway point at the correct height. Should probably keep this open so I can see our max height when we get to that point. Alright, and this is where I want to stay for the remainder of our climb. I am seeing our fuel is lower at an earlier point in time. And this number is going up as we lose more fuel, so that is working in our favor. This did get to 60, 70. We're going to see how high up this goes. So pretty much at the L of solid, we wanted to take this off, so it's probably like a fifth. It's definitely less than a quarter. Because this gets us all the way up to a max height of 175 kilometers high. So we want to take roughly a fifth of the fuel out. And I am going to see what that number would be, mathematical-wise. If I times this by 0.2. $400. So if I take out 20%, it would be exactly 13120. I didn't mean to pick that up, I meant to right click on it. 13120. Is that the same here? No, it's not. I have to do each one of them separately. That one was correct. This was not. So I don't know what happened differently now that they're all correct. Anyway, we're going to save this. We're going to fly it. We're going to see how this breaks apart when we get into this atmosphere. Alright. I am unable to change the orientation. I can't pull right. Pulling left seems to push us up. What? I think I pressed the wrong button somewhere. So I'm just gonna restart the launch and make sure I press the correct one. So T turns on SAS, Z turns on full throttle, space starts. Okay, that was weird. I don't know what button I did that, like, rechanged the keybinds to doing different directions. Alright, we're at the halfway point at a good height. What is our max height getting to? 20 for right now. And this is where I want to stay for the rest of the trip. We are getting pretty low on the solid fuel, but we're already at 50 kilometers. That's 70 kilometers, 80, 90, 100, 120. That was almost the same exact number. So we're going to take out 30% and see if that does anything. We're getting to the point where the more fuel we're taking out, the less weight we have, so we're actually going faster, quicker. If that makes sense. And we're just trying to find the sweet spot. At some point, there's not going to be enough fuel. And honestly, I think that did go up a little bit. So if I change this to 11,480, that's 11,480. That's 44. 11,480. This one should be the same now. Yes. Save that and try this. This is 30% fuel taken out. SAS, full throttle, space. Right, start turning. I am getting a little bit more sponginess on the turning for some odd reason. I don't think that would be due to us turning the amount of fuel down. This seems weird. Alright, we stay right here. And what's our max height before we run out of fuel? We're at 50 kilometers, 60, 70, 80, 88 kilometers high with just these. Let's go to 35%, so that should shoot us a little bit below 80, I hope. That's not what I meant to click on. So 35% is 1066, 0. 10660. Make sure the other two are set up the right way. Yes. Alright, let's see what this max height is. 35.684. Is that the exact percentage you want me to use, Regus? Did you do math on that or something? Welcome back, OK Clips, by the way. I did see that you had to leave earlier. Alright, this should do better. Yes, I do remember you said that earlier. You were here a few days ago. Okay, we're at the spot that I want to be at. What does our max height go to now? We're at 50, 60, 70, 84. We lost a whole 5 kilometers. So what I think our sweet spot is going to be is actually taking 40% out. Because that'll bring us... If the numbers are still going down in the same amount, I think it's going to take us to 80 or 81 kilometers. And at that point, I am not going to test the rocket. I just wanted it away from 90 kilometers, like we had originally. So what would be 40% taken out of? That would be a total of 9,840. 9840. 9840. And check the other two. That's right. That's right. Okay. We're going to save this. And for our screenshot, I think we're going to take a screenshot of the space station with how it's all completely set up. 2 weeks ago, that was the last time you came in? Did you finish the Transformer? I finished the Lego Transformer, but I have not finished the model car that we were painting to look like a Transformer. That's still right here, and inside it is the engine, which is very small. That one we haven't finished. Which brings me to one of the next few polls. So at this point, we are done with Kerbal Space Program today. And we are going to do our first poll for what we're going to do tomorrow. So we are not doing Kerbal Space Program tomorrow, Thursday, or Friday. Those 3 days are going to be something other than that. We have the model car that I just showed you guys. We could continue doing a little bit more of that. We have more community games. So it could be another game of Peak, or maybe some Repo. I know Willow won't be able to join us because she streams Tuesdays while we would be streaming, just like today. So she won't be able to join us for Peak. So I don't know who else would be able to fit that spot. Maybe Wallbread, but he might be streaming tomorrow as well. I think Riga said that he was going to be busy because of work. I think today is his last day off before going back to work. So we could try and get Small Town Sophie and Naomi Cat to play Goose Goose Duck. Maybe a couple other people, I'm not sure. And I had a third option. What was that third option? Oh, I remember it now. It was Vintage Story. So, a while back, I joined a server with Wellbred, Regus, Willow, Lost in Oz, and a few other people. I don't forget her name. I think Slig and... Why am I forgetting who lives right next to me in that server? Either way. Leo, that's right, thank you, Regus. We all were playing a Vintage Story server, which is pretty much a upgraded Minecraft. And when Willow stopped streaming it on her channel because she switched to a different game, everyone else kind of stopped playing it. And I've been playing this server, doing minute things while I'm editing for a YouTube channel videos. So we can either play that specifically, and then anyone who's already in the server could join us if they want to, or we could play it by ourselves, doesn't matter. We could do the model car, or we can do another community game, which I would have to find out what to set up. So you have a minute to vote on what we're going to do tomorrow. That is now up. And to answer your question, okay, Clips, this is a model car, yes. I don't know what you mean by did you consider mods. My weekdays are usually busy until October now. I'm so sorry to hear that, Regus. Okay. While you guys are doing that poll for the last 30 seconds, I'm going to go in here and get to our space station and take our screenshot. How do I rename a ship? I know that there was a thing for it, and I don't remember where to look. Poll is ended, and 2 people voted for the model car, so that is what we'll be doing tomorrow. Okay, can I rename this? Is that the name of the whole ship? I thought it might be the command pods, but it's not. And it said the name of this entire piece here. Don't know. I also want to take a picture of this in sunlight so we can actually see it. So let's fast forward quite a bit. There's the sun. Just want to get a little bit closer so that more of the sun's focused on this than it is on the front. It might not change that direction though. Now that I'm thinking about it, it looks like it's staying with this shadow right there because of how we have this orientated, which in a way makes sense. How is this doing? We now have a quarter of assigns completed. So at some point when we're trying to complete all the signs for this, we're going to be just fast forwarding orbits around just to get through this quicker. So doing the orbit signs going around Kerbin, Mun, and Minos isn't going to take as much time as going to Mun and getting the final biome signs, because we have yet to finish Mun, as you can see by our to-do list. We did do the Mun manned landing though, so I should have taken that off at this point. But we didn't do the global biome science. We didn't go to every biome and get at least one thing of science. So either way, I am going to now take a screenshot of this with as much of Kerbin in the background as I can. There we go. We have that saved. I can now go to Space Center, save the game completely, because we did do extra things to that one rocket. So we do need to do another save, even if we had one prepared already. I finished my space station in 10 times bigger. I also somewhat remember you saying that you have mods that add extra parts or something. So either way, that it being bigger is still cool. Alright, let's load the game, because I want to know what we named the previous save, because I forgot. Space Station Without Fuel. That's not typing. Station without fuel. Save, overwrite. We are now done with KSP. So I'm going to go into a rainout scene. We're going to find someone to rain out to. Thanks for watching. If you'd like to catch me live, I stream on Twitch on Wednesdays and Fridays from 10 a.m. EST to 12:30 p.m. EST, and on Sundays from 10 a.m. EST to 2 p.m. EST.